All right, let's try this again. Looks like the microphone's working. Looks like the camera's working. Hopefully everything's working now. So if I have any viewers left, welcome to Tuesday night. It's me, Jeremy, and we're going to create some art. Hopefully, if things don't go awry again. I'm just an artist guy. I don't know all of these fancy gizmos and things like that. So hopefully you guys can find this. I had to create like a third live stream. Sorry about that. You might be wondering what we're going to create today. Well, hopefully if people make it in here, you can hang out with me and chat while we create another Halloween illustration. Oh, cool, because I can't found his way in. Hopefully Kid can, and yeah, Marvel's in here, cool. Sorry about the glitches. I'll figure out what I'm doing one of these days. Yeah, so like I created a Halloween painting illustration the other day, and it was so much fun. I wanted to create a new one. Um, Hopefully this camera's working. Cross my fingers. Yes. All right, cool. All right, so we're in business. Hopefully the audio is still working and things like that. So this is the picture I made the other day. I thought I'd make a new one. And if things don't break, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and get started so my paints don't dry. If you guys find your way in here, feel free to chat with me. I've got, hold on, I gotta kill this logo in here. There we go. All right. That's so that that's like a piece of software that makes my phone interact with my computer. It's a bunch of nonsense. All right. So yeah, we're gonna create a painting of a scary Halloween scene. Hopefully it doesn't come out lame. We'll see how it goes. So as you can see, I've already tinted the paper blue. So I'm just gonna start with that. I need a big swig of my drink this time. All right, I think we're good to go. If it's not hard enough to paint with a live audience, it really sucks when you're having technical glitches. So I do apologize about that, but that's the way these things go. So I've got a little bit of gray on my paintbrush. I'm gonna kind of try to box this in with some cool trees in the background. So just to get it started, how's everybody else's week going? Hopefully better than mine. The uh, the monster I'm going to be painting today scared all of my technical devices away. That's what the issue is. So I'm just starting with some like really light gray back here just to kind of get some twigs and branches in on like a on a tree. Kind of similar to my painting the other day, but it's uh it's a process. So hopefully your guys' week is going better than mine. It's Tuesday though, right? Like the and we're getting really close to Halloween. I don't know if you guys like celebrate Halloween like I do. I really enjoy Halloween, and it seems to be that Halloween falls on a Tuesday this week, or not this week, this year. Um, so I'm going to be able to live stream on a Halloween. That's gonna be exciting. I haven't figured that out yet because I also want to give out candy. So I might actually do like a later live stream on Halloween, but we'll see how it goes. Hey, Woody Bog, how's it going? Hey, Marble. Hey, kid, because I can. Glad everybody made it in here. Yeah, so like I'm trying to be like this professional operation where I'm like, doing these live streams and painting at the same time. And yeah, I've only been doing it about a year now and still can't figure out these things. The issue is I've got like two cameras all kind of wired together and then like a separate microphone, and they just don't seem to play well together. Like I had everything set up before I did this stream. I tested everything. Everything was working fine. And then just suddenly it froze on my face, which is embarrassing. So I'm probably going to dress as like a zombie, but I haven't decided yet. I have a zombie in mind just because it's nice and easy and it's not gonna like I can't wear like a big old mask or something and paint at the same time or draw. That might be a little bit challenging. So I'm gonna try to keep it simple and just put on some like face paint or whatever and see how it goes. Unless you guys have some suggestions. Maybe Bob Ross. That'd be awesome. You guys know I love Bob Ross. So again, I'm just trying to box it in. This one's going to be a little bit lighter than my other one. The concept here is I'm actually going to call this painting Fearless if it comes out right. Basically, you got a little girl trick-or-treating and she encounters a monster, but she's not afraid. She's just out to get the candy. So we'll see how that goes. But the first step is to kind of put in, it's kind of like this foggy, smoky scene. And it's a little bit lighter, but these trees are kind of like off in the distance, and I'll probably overlay it with some darker trees here in a moment. Man, I'm like already 15 minutes behind on my freaking painting. Like, I was like, man, I wonder if I should start this painting early just because it might take a little while. And then here it is, I'm already behind. That kind of sucks. But anyway, so first step is to just kind of box things in with these little side trees here, kind of frame the piece. I love Halloween. Halloween's so much fun. Like, I didn't know what to kind of focus on as far as paintings go and stuff. There's some other material that I'd like to get to. Um, it's like more traditional pieces and stuff like that. But you know, it's the season. I wanna get some cool Halloween pictures in. Why not, right? I love painting trees, by the way. Like, because you can go anywhere with the branches. Like, it's really hard to kind of mess up trees. Well, he says that, but he'll probably find some way. But I kind of just want branches going all over the place. This isn't even like a focal point or anything like that. Kind of get some foliage. I always have trouble saying that. Leaves. Get some leaves going in back here. Man, I know how frustrating it is to have to like, close one stream and go to another. I'm sorry you guys had to go through that. That sucks. But at least I hit record this time. Sometimes I forget to hit record. It's hard to make the shorts without like recording it beforehand. You can still do it. You can like download your videos off of YouTube, like your live stream off of YouTube and get it that way, but it's not the easiest thing in the world. But enough about me and my woes. Like, how are you guys doing? Oh, Zorro for Halloween. That'd be really cool. That's a movie that's primed for a remake, like or a reboot or something like that. I think the last Zorro movie was Antonio Banderas, and that was probably like late '90s, maybe before then. Um, Antonio Banderas, and Angelina Jolie, I think. But I mean, really, he did so good as Zorro. I don't know, like if yeah, so like get it a little bit darker in the foreground. I don't know who nowadays, because like you would need a Latino actor, I believe, to play Zorro like authentically. Like you don't want to, get some white guy in a mask or something playing that. I think Antonio Banderas was great casting for it. So I don't know who would fill those shoes these days. I'm sure somebody like they could find somebody. But yeah, I think that one's primed for a reboot, which I'm not a huge fan of. Like I don't like it when they just reboot something because like I don't know. Like some movies are like done perfectly. So I don't think that they can reboot everything, every franchise, but remaking The Crow, what? Brandon Lee was like perfect as the Crow. I could see that though. Like they want to get in on the comic book action, so that makes sense. But I love that movie, The Crow. That's one of my all-time favorite. And the soundtrack for that, Stone Temple Pilots, I believe, like did a lot of the music for that. or at least one song that I really like. I don't know. That movie, man, I remember when that movie first came out. I thought that was like perfect. Um, that's comic book movies done the right way. I'm not gonna get like super detailed with these trees and stuff. They're just kind of like framing the like it's always about the focal point with me and stuff like that. This is just kind of like extra bits, but oh, gotta have it in here. And you can't see, but like I've got like a palette here. Over here, I've got some black and some white with a little bit of blue in it, just to make this gray I'm working with. And I think it's going well. There's only so much of the palette I can actually fit in the screen. So there's like some rocks and stuff like that down here in the foreground as well. We got some ground. So basically you're gonna have like a little girl in this space and a big monster in this space, and she's gonna be like kind of facing it down, like basically facing her fears and stuff to go out and trick or treat for Halloween. That's the story at least. Like I'm trying to do more storytelling in these pictures instead of just, like I'm still gonna do the portraits that I've been doing. I'm still gonna do like, animals and horses and stuff like that. But every now and then I kind of want to tell a story. And that's what I'm trying to do with these Halloween pictures I've been working on, if that makes sense. So it's not just like one character or something like that. It's like an entire scene that kind of tells a story. Yeah, I don't think they could top The Crow. Like they could try. They'll probably like glitz it up and all that stuff and try to appeal to like new audiences and everything. That's what I hate about the reboots, right? So like they don't just, you know, redo it. They try to remake it completely to where it's like not the same thing anymore. What did they say about good artists becoming great artists? I'm not either. I'm not. I'm trying to be a good artist, but I'm certainly not a great artist. Let me start with good. Like I'll try to become a good artist first. Hopefully my paints haven't dried too much because like there was a bit of a delay there. Oh man, that sucks. I'd rather make a bad painting than have technical glitches and make a bad stream. Like I'd rather have a good stream and like a bad painting. That's sad, isn't it? So all this foreground stuff it's going to be like super dark because like it's kind of backlit. It's from That's the idea at least. And again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this stuff here. It's just basically for to kind of set the mood. There we go. The focal points are going to be the trick-or-treating little girl and the monster itself. I have to be a little bit careful on some of these twigs just because, you know, they're uh, they're more in the foreground and and therefore you have to add like a little bit more detail. Hopefully these colors dry right too. I'm also practicing painting in general. I'm not that skilled in painting. I've uh I've been trying, you know, but I'm more of a drawer. Like technically that pastel stuff is considered pastel painting, but even there, it's mostly drawing, at least the way I do it. Some people actually have different techniques for doing pastel pictures that I would consider more painting than what I do. Look at that. There's blood on me already. I accidentally got my hand in the red paint. That's probably going to happen a lot tonight, to be honest with you. I end up, because I don't have a lot of space here on camera, I end up accidentally putting my hand in my paints. figure this out. A couple little twigs there, more like in front of the background twigs. This is a really cool way to do like a picture in general. So like a drawer, a drawer. I'm a file drawer. That's great. Drawer. There you go. I can't pronounce words. If I ever could, like I don't know. Sometimes I can put together words without sounding like a complete idiot, but being on camera, drinking, having technical issues, it definitely reduces the probability that I'll make sense. But that's the way it goes. I mean, like you guys tune in for a reason. I think it's probably to watch me make an ass of myself, and that's totally fine. I'm happy to entertain you. All right, so this is probably good to get going. Like I may come back and add some. I want like a really dark one up here, just to kind of let you know that this is kind of in the foreground. Anyway, this is probably good enough to get started. I may come back and work on these trees a little bit more later on, but I want to kind of move on to some of the other features. So clean that brush. I probably won't use that brush again, but that's okay. All right, so I wanted to kind of mix. This is the other thing. I'm not very good at this, right? So like mixing colors. So like I've got my primary colors here, and I'm going to try to make a like an like a brown. So if I remember correctly, I think it's almost equal parts of each. So let me get a kind of an orange going real quick. One of these days, I'm going to practice actually mixing colors a little bit better. So, and I might do a stream about that just in general, just me practicing mixing colors. So that's almost like an orange. And then to make brown, you add just like a little bit of like the other. So like basically you mix the two primary colors to get like a secondary color, and then you mix in like the third primary color. And you can do this in a couple of different combinations. So like you can also do like, I don't know, blue and yellow to make green, and then add in some red. That'll make you an orange. Not an orange, sorry, a brown. But this works for me. And I don't want a super dark brown, so I'm going to grab some of my white over here and kind of mix that in as well, just to kind of lighten that up. This is going to be like the base for her hair, the little girl's hair, so I don't want it super dark. And I don't know if you can see on camera or not, but that's a pretty decent brown, so I'm happy with that. So I kind of wanted the girl to be basically like around here. Let me get some of that paint off my brush. So before, like until I know where everything is, this is almost like my drawing method. So like until I know where everything is, it's really light paint. And then maybe I'll come back over it with something like a little bit more globby. But to start, I kind of want a little girl here. She's wearing a dress. And hopefully I can get some basic hair in here. You don't see her face. She's just running through the woods and stuff like that. Oil paints is something I haven't tried yet, just because like I'm not really sure how to clean them yet. I need to watch some tutorials on like what kind of solvents you would use to clean your brushes and take care of your brushes and everything. But that's definitely on my list. I'm going to move up to that at some point. This is just acrylic paints. And they're super cheap, especially like when you only buy the primary colors and you mix your own colors. If you're on a budget and you're just wanting to learn how to paint on the cheap, I recommend this. Like these acrylic colors, they're only like $1, $2 for a big old tube, and might be a little bit more than that. But anyway, acrylics aren't that expensive. So there's different methods that you would use for like different kind of paintings. So like if you're doing watercolor, for example, it's going to be a little bit different than if you're doing acrylics, but they're kind of similar. So what I'm doing here is, oh, you can't even see that. So I'm going to do that here, I guess. So I'm going to like basically get like an orange going. Just to like give her like some skin tone. I'm gonna add a little bit of white to that to lighten it up. Add a little bit of my brown to that to kind of neutralize it. A little bit, just a tiny dab of red. I might have to remix this several times, but because I'm not that great at mixing colors, got a little bit of a dark skin tone going there, but that's it's going to pass well enough to where I can come back with highlights and get it a little bit better. But basically, I kind of want her, I almost called it a paw. I'm so used to drawing animals. So her paw is going to come off probably like right through here. And she's going to be kind of holding like a bag. She's trick-or-treating. If that's not, if I didn't say that. And then there's going to be like another arm kind of coming off here. So this is a little bit darker than what I want, but as I kind of like develop her a little bit, I'll be adding some like highlights and stuff like that. So this is basically the shadow bits of her arm. And I probably need to switch to a smaller brush just to not make this so gloopy. All right, so that's a good start there. Mineral spirits and walnut oil. All right. I do have some oils. I just haven't played with them yet. All right. So, and then she's going to have like a white dress on, but I'm going to start with kind of like a gray just to kind of figure out where that is, right? So like I kind of want it a little bit below. Oh, you see me looking off to the side. I have some reference pictures of like what a monster might look like, what a little girl holding like a jack-o'-lantern might look like. So I'm looking at those. The composition, all of these things together, is I don't have a reference picture for that because this is kind of like being created on the fly. But I do have some reference photos just to see what these things might look like. So get her kind of like in a little bit of a dress. She's almost like wearing a dress, kind of like the one I did the other day. It's just when you go looking for girls trick-or-treating, they're always wearing these dresses. I would want to say maybe she's dressed as like a fairy or something of that nature. She's not going to be wearing a gray dress. It's just yeah, it's a definitely a change of pace there. Who cares? I'm trying to do at least for this, I'm trying to do like some storytelling. So that's the change of pace, really, is I'm trying to do some storytelling here with these pictures. Just to kind of broaden my horizons a little bit. I'm going to add some white to just kind of get started on that. I'm probably going to have to switch to a smaller brush here in a few, but I just wanted to kind of get an idea of like which side's highlighted. So we'll work on that a bit, but it's just to get her started. The other thing that kind of sucks about acrylic paints is they dry so quickly, and I know that's the whole reason why people use oils. Um, it's to kind of combat that. There's a style of painting called alla prima, which is like everything all at once, but it's also like basically wet on wet. Um, that I want to try, but it may be a little bit before I can get to that. Certainly, it'll be a while before I can master that. So I just want to kind of like darken a little bit of that hair just so that I kind of have a good base to work off of. So getting that started. So she has to have legs. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush though. just so that I can get those in. So her legs, I'm going to have her wearing some stockings. I want to make sure I get these proportions right. So basically, it's like her arms. I want to make sure her arms aren't like super long or anything like that. That's the trouble I always have when doing these smaller pictures. That's the other thing. I'm not used to painting smaller pictures either. So this is all a challenge for me. I think it turned out all right the other day, but you know, just because you do it once doesn't mean you can like always do it. So she's got, again, I want to say a paw. She's got like a little paw sticking down. And then for her second leg, I want her kind of running towards this monster. Again, the concept here, like if I give it a title, and it turns out all right, the title I would give it is Fearless. Like she's out trick or treating, and she's not afraid of the monster. In fact, she's kind of running towards the monster. So I want to kind of have this one kind of come off to the side. I think that's probably a bit long. So she's kind of like running towards the monster. Like maybe she wants to make friends with it or something like that. You have to imagine the monster because I haven't drawn that yet or painted, I guess. So I'm going to see if I can just kind of darken this hair a little bit more just by using that black that I was using on her leg. Really lightened up. All right, so I think that's a good start. So while before my brown, not brown, I keep mixing up colors in my head. So before this orange kind of dries up, let me mix some orange together here. Kind of want to get started on my jack-o'-lantern because there's a bunch of different kinds of um, like pails you can use to carry your candy. I want her to be holding a jack-o'-lantern just so that people really like. I want to hit people over the head. This is a Halloween illustration. And of course, as I develop the picture, I might put in some more detail on these things and stuff. But I also have to be conscious of the time and what all I can actually get done in a reasonable amount of time. But that looks orange. Looks like a jack-o'-lantern. So I kind of want it to be a little bit wider because I want him to have like a nice jack-o'-lantern like face. Speaking of which, I know that this is an art show where I'm supposed to be drawing and painting pictures and stuff, but I am going to actually carve a pumpkin here in the next couple of days. It's still a little early. I don't want to carve my pumpkin just yet, just because like I don't want to. I don't want it to end up rotting. It's been kind of cold around here lately, but we've had some warm days and stuff. I don't want like the jack-o'-lantern like rotting basically on my front porch. Um, I usually carve my pumpkins like 2 days before Halloween or something like that, but trying to keep a steady hand here so I can get these like little light lines. But that one's a little bit thicker than what I wanted, but I'll fix it later. All right, so that's probably a good start. Since I already have this small brush, I'm going to continue using it. So I got like a glop of white paint here. I'm just going to kind of use that to kind of add some more highlights to her dress, kind of move it around a little bit so that it's not like all in just like one place. And kind of get a bit of a like frill kind of going. I don't know what she's dressed as. I could like add fairy wings to her and stuff like that, but I'm just gonna keep it simple, to be honest. I don't want to go crazy with it. I still have a lot more to paint here, so I'll worry about all of that kind of stuff later. And let me thin out this white so it's almost like a glaze. Let's see if I can get kind of a highlight going on her arm. So I kind of want it to be a little bit glazy so that that skin tone, that darker skin tone kind of shows through. So I want it to be like a little bit transparent. see if I can get my. You really should be using it like an easel when you paint and stuff. I haven't set that up yet for like streaming. Maybe one day. If I continue painting, I'll probably like try to instead of drawing, I will probably try to refigure my setup here so that I have like an easel so that I'm not doing these awkward. This is acrylic paint, and I would add it's cheap acrylic paint. I didn't buy anything expensive here. Yeah. All right. So that looks more normal. I don't have the steadiest hand either. That's what sucks. But I don't know. We'll make do. Kind of blend that out a little bit so there's not such a hard line. Kind of try the same technique over here. Now this is going to be a little bit darker just because like I kind of have like the moonlight coming through here. In fact, I'll paint like a moon here in a minute, but get some lighter skin going there. This white paint isn't all that opaque anyway. Like it dries pretty light. So I think just layering it over that darker skin tone will work. And I can clean that up later. But anyway, you got the basics of like a little girl carrying a pail. So that's a nice start. So I'm trying different things here just because like I'm not used to painting. And I think just putting down some paint and kind of smearing it out seems to be working. Um, her dress is going to kind of come through here, and that's a little bit light, so I'm going to try to darken that up on the fly. See if this works. Yeah. So keeping with that kind of gray, and then I'll bring that down into like little folds of her dress. All right, so that's a good start. Now I started with brown hair, but I don't really want it to be brown. I want it to be kind of like blonde. Let me try to mix some blonde color together. So that's I've got this yellow, but obviously blonde is not really yellow. It's kind of like a combination of a couple of colors. So you can't really see this, but let me move it over here. All right, so it's basically going to be like a light brown with a little bit of a yellow kind of tinge to it. And then I'm going to see if that works as kind of blonde. I think that's a good start for like kind of a middle color. So you got the dark, and then try to get some hair strands coming down. Again, I expect this to like dry not as bright, so I'm going to end up brightening it up, I think, for other pieces. I think I have an even smaller brush for the like little strands of hair details. Let's see if this works. Yeah. This is almost like a pin. So I want at least like 3 layers here. So like the darker, this kind of like, I guess, mid-tone or whatever. And then like a ultra like lighter layer as well. So let me grab some of my white here. Again, the challenge I found just getting started with painting in acrylics is that you're basically rushing against time here because like your paints may dry on you and then you have to kind of like remix them and stuff, which kind of sucks, but that's a bit too much white. Getting some highlights on her hair. See if I can do it this way. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me while I try all these different things. I know that you guys have like a lot of options on YouTube shows that you can watch. Um, I think what I bring to the table here is that you guys get to watch experimentation because I'm not a person who's been painting for many years. In fact, I've been painting for like a sum total of a few months. Um, so you guys get to watch somebody trial and error try to figure this stuff out, you know. And I think it's really good for like new people who also are in the same boat, like maybe you haven't spent a lot of time painting or whatever. You get to watch somebody who's also experimenting as they go along. And maybe we can learn together. A lot of what you'll probably see here is me not necessarily doing great work, but me fixing mistakes that I introduce as I go along, which is always fun. A bit disheveled hair there. Um, so like in these illustrations, especially on like the white areas, I do have like a gel pen that I come back and kind of like fix up some of these things to make them like look more normal than what I can maybe paint. So I'll probably do that later on, but I just wanted to get things started here. Yeah, the learning curve never ends. That's a great way to put it. Um, but it's a good start. It's fun. It's fun. If I had a lot of experience in painting, I probably wouldn't be doing the YouTube show, to be honest. I'd be doing more like I'd probably be tackling something else. The whole reason I started this YouTube channel is to just practice being creative, and like if I'm actually mastered it and stuff like that, there's really nothing to practice. But I'm not there yet. I'm still learning, still having fun with it. If it wasn't fun, I wouldn't do it. Okay, trying to get some. There we go. Oh, that's still a little bit light. Wipe out some of that light. I fully anticipate that to dry later. Some white going over here. Probably a decent start on her and her dress, but I feel comfortable moving on to other parts. Her left leg kind of dried out a little bit lighter than I thought, so let me get some black back up in there. Wasn't meant to be gray. In fact, I was going to put like little stripes on it, kind of like I don't know, like an elf kind of stripes. I did do a painting one year. Um, we were supposed to decorate our office window at work, and I did uh, I did some cool like elves where you could like put your face in it and get a picture with it, and I called it like elf yourself, which you know I thought was funny. HR didn't think it was that funny, but I thought it was funny. But that was fun. you know, like all my coworkers got to come and put their faces in the and basically pretend to be an elf. That was easier, I think. It's hard to paint this small. It's basically everything is like detail at this point. But you know, I chose the paper. I have no one else to blame. Which I thought like these little square papers would be fun for these type of things. By the way, so that's a little bit different too. Usually I paint on like more rectangular paper or draw or something. But I thought the square format might be fun for these illustrations. All right, so that's pretty cool. I'm going to move on to, and I'll come back to some of these things. Like obviously, it needs like a little jack. Well, let me go ahead and do the jack-o'-lantern face real quick, just so that I have that done. But I really want to get the monster in there so that the monster kind of completes the story, and then I can worry about like details and things that like I can always fix off camera if I need to. So let's get a nice little jack-o'-lantern face going here. But these are, you know, these are fun illustrations. I call them illustrations. I don't know if they're like really paintings. I'm using paint, but you know, I don't know what qualifies as like an official painting. You know, kind of like a little grin on that jack-o'-lantern there. Yeah, that looks kind of cool. Let me go back and grab some of my orange, which might be a little bit muddied from that black paint. But kind of fix his jaw here. Round that out a little bit more. That's a cool start. I'm kind of darken up this side a little bit. Again, I want the light to kind of be coming down like that. Hey, Moon. Thanks. It's just getting started. Hopefully, it continues to look halfway decent. We'll see how it goes. It's Halloween. It's supposed to be fun. It doesn't matter if it's perfect. Kind of a yellowish highlight there. That's hard to see on camera anyway, but yellow it up a little bit more. There you go. That's a good start. All right. So like I said, I really want to move on to this monster just so that I can at least rough it in really quick, so that you kind of get the whole idea. Um, before that, I forgot about my moon. I kind of wanted to get a bit of a moon going up there in the sky. So because it's already like lightly tinged blue, I can kind of go over it a little bit with just kind of like a glaze of white, and you still get that kind of bluish look behind it. I can never draw a perfect circle. That's good enough. And then maybe like kind of get in some clouds as well back here. Just kind of break it up a little bit and get some white areas in there. Maybe bring some of that white over my branches and stuff like that, just to push some of that into the background. More water to you know, get some atmosphere in here, I guess. And I want to keep that really thin because I'm about to paint dark over it. But that's good enough. Again, it's supposed to be kind of like foggy and such in this story that I'm telling. All right, so yeah, let's create a monster. Um, I want him to be kind of like super big and not really that, well, yeah, it's kind of scary, but also, you know, not too scary. I don't want to like kind of like my picture the other day. I wanted to be scary, but not like I don't know, like too scary. All right, so but I do want him to be big. In fact, I kind of want him, and again, this is just background for him, so like I'll add detail over him, but I kind of want a big head, kind of like a Bigfoot character almost, but like not quite. And then massive shoulders and kind of like a massive torso. And I want that to kind of come down to about eye level. So like if you picture like the Hulk maybe, or I don't know if any of you guys have seen the Disney special on or the Marvel special on Disney Plus, Werewolf by Night. But they've got this character called Man Thing, which is like super huge and stuff. Basically like that. And I will adjust some of this stuff probably as I kind of feel out where all of this is. I'm freehanding it obviously, so I'm not totally sold on all of these things, but I want this like hand to come out and kind of like be menacing, and I want like kind of claws, like long fingers, and then like I'll clean all this up, but I just kind of want to figure out where these things are, and then bring that back towards the body. Let's see. I want it to be close, but not like on her type deal. And then again, bring that body down. And then over here, I kind of want, again, same massive arm coming out. It's got some claws and stuff, but it kind of all flows into this like just big monstrous hand. And like three claws coming down. I'll clean this up later. I'll worry about it later, I should say. So just this massive hunk of a monster, essentially. And then gotta give him some legs. So this one is going to be kind of like in the front, and then bring that down and back. Now this guy actually has paws, so like just kind of round this out. And then this other side, this kind of goes off a little bit back into the background. So like if this dries a little bit lighter, that's fine. That's actually perfect. And this one back here kind of like just kind of disappears into like all of this crap down here. All this crap, all this landscape, I guess. And it's kind of like he's almost like a Sasquatch character. It's just he's got like I don't know, almost like a bunch of matted hair just dripping off of him and stuff like that. But here in his face, I'm just gonna kind of rough this up because I want him to have this big gaping mouth. So how do I do that? I think the way I'll do that is introduce some of this brown here. I don't know if this is going to work before it dries, but I want to get some brown in here. Let me let that dry a little bit, I think. And then I'll come back with some highlights over it and kind of define some of these features of him a little bit better. In the meantime, hopefully, hopefully you guys are still following along. Get some blues and grays down in here. Develop this a little bbit more. Give them a little bit to stand on. I don't mind this being like rough. I actually think that's kind of cool. I want to get some of my browns in here. I think there's already kind of like a story being told here, a little bit, which I think is cool. Let me put that to the side. Grab this rounder brush and see if I can get some like tendrils hanging off of them. Yeah, almost like a swamp monster, but it's not really a swamp. I mean, she's trick-or-treating in her neighborhood, and she just encounters this like monstrous-looking dude. Or I don't even know if it's like a dude. It like what are the pronouns for monsters? I don't know. But this giant character. It's almost like a Dark Sully from Monsters Inc. If you guys ever watch that. So this looks rough, but I will end up making that look better, I think. I just want all these like little tendrils hanging off of them. All right, so I think that's a good start. Um, if I could, I would try this stuff. So like that's the other challenge of doing things on camera. If you guys weren't here, I would take a blow dryer to this and kind of dry it up, but you guys are here and I don't want to create all that noise. I've done it before in the past and I never really liked it, but introduce some light areas here, I think. And I don't mind it being wet when I do this because this is mostly just to kind of figure out where things are. So again, I want a big old gaping mouth. He doesn't have like a head per se. It's more like all part of his torso. Bring that back. Bring some of this stuff down. Yeah, let's just call him Bigfoot. But it's a monstrous Bigfoot. It's not like your friendly Harry and the Hendersons kind of Bigfoot. So I want this area here to be light. Because this stuff is catching the moonlight. I see my moon basically. Oh, that's funny. The moon is our mission. My moon that I painted up here has kind of dried very transparent, so that sucks. So I have to repaint that with some more opacity. But that's the way it goes. I'm still getting used to these paints. Like I said, they're super cheap paints, so I don't expect much from them anyway. Um, but also like I don't think it matters so much if the stuff you use is like super cheap. Especially when practicing. Like I don't want to use like super expensive paints and stuff just to practice. Um, but anyway, so like if I have to come back over and redo some things, I'll just learn for next time. It's not a big deal. Right, so down here at his foot, I do kind of want to darken that in a little bit because he's going to have some claws. I do want this area to be dark. He doesn't have a lot of form to him yet. The megapode. What is a megapode? Is that like a special kind of monster? Because if so, awesome. lines going off down here just to create some shadows and some texture down here. All right, so I'm going to go really white up here. And I don't anticipate it drying white just because everything seems to be like transparent. But I kind of want to get some facial features up here. So this side here is going to be like more highlighted. And then I think through here, you're going to have some eyes. So this would be like just below the eyes. Kind of get a eye ridge going here. And then, like I said, I want a huge gaping mouth, like really, really kind of scary. Like he could literally swallow this girl whole if he wanted to. I think that's super scary. And of course, I got to put some teeth in it. Mega big pod foot. Oh, okay. Man, you guys know your Bigfoot lore. I like it. It's definitely got Bigfoot vibes to it. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Getting some fur going back through here. I gotta watch where I put my palm. I keep wanting to put it in the red paint over here. Get some fur going off of up here. A bit of whatever these things are, just to kind of define his arm a little bit. Again, I don't anticipate this drawing super light, so it's more just to get some highlight going and kind of figure out where his fingers are. So this is one big long pointing finger almost. I'm gonna have like a claw come back around, and then this is like basically the other two kind of together, or just like, yeah. So he's got basically four fingers, and then this one's going to be kind of a thumb coming down here. I'm not very good at drawing human hands to begin with, much less monster hands. This is a little bit of fun. Get kind of definitely need to add some claws, but he's reaching for her very menacingly. Hey, Copper Dan, how's it going? We're creating Halloween art here. Trying to tell a story of a girl's encounter with a monster. And in this story, she's basically facing it off fearlessly. That's what I'm going for, at least. We'll see how it turns out. All right, so I want to darken up these eye areas here, if I can. See if it'll let me. But I'm not gonna go crazy with his actual eyes. I think they're just gonna be like these like white spots, but his eye sockets essentially should be like pretty dark. And again, it's just adding form to what was already there. I have to move to the side just because like my light's in here. It's hard to tell what I've painted and what's not. So he doesn't really have a nose, but he does have this like mouth area here. Kind of just comes down, and I'm going to actually paint that really dark here real quick. I need to put some teeth in here. It's so much fun drawing these scary type creatures, and like I'm really enjoying this visual storytelling stuff because it lets you be super creative. Um, you've got something at the end that does tell a story. Like you don't have to explain it to anybody. If you do a good job, the story is in it. You know, that sort of thing. I love that. So again, I'm moving to the side because I have this light here, this kind of like highlighting this, and I can't really tell if it's wet paint or if it's not. Big monstrous. Like, sorry guys, I'm having fun here. Yeah, somehow Stranger Things. Thanks, Copper Dan. You guys get it. Yeah. All right, so I need to let his mouth dry because I'm gonna have these like teeth, right? But I need to let that dry. So I'm going to move on to, again, he's got some claws. These these hands don't really do justice here yet. So hopefully I can. Again, I don't have the steadiest hand because I drink a lot of coffee. Here, I'll combat the coffee with some more of my bourbon. All right, so I want to get a claw going here, but I don't want it to be too close to her. Like I may have messed up and put this hand too close to her. I don't want it to look like he's actually grabbing her. I want it to be like he's about to grab her. And then I do think there should be two claws here on this part. I may have to come back with like a pen afterwards and kind of like clean up some of those lines, which is cheating, I know, but I'm not above cheating while I'm still learning. I do think if you're going to do something, you should probably do it right though. So like I try to avoid cheating with using pens afterwards because I do consider it cheating. Like if you're going to try to learn how to paint, try to learn how to paint. Don't come back and draw later over it. I've done that. I've done that with watercolors and stuff like that, and I don't like it. I feel like I'm cheating myself. Not really you guys. You guys don't care as long as the picture looks cool. Um, but I feel like I'm cheating myself. I want to paint, so like I'm going to try to avoid drawing as much as possible. Even though I know that I could do that if I wanted to. I could come back and kind of clean up some of these lines with some ink. So that doesn't have a lot of form to it yet, but I'm hoping as I continue along, it'll develop a little bit more. Thanks, kid. Whoops. Gotta watch out for my. Don't want to spill anything. Get on that. Get some claws going over here. It's so much fun drawing something that's completely from imagination because you really can just do whatever you want, right? Like, you guys generally know what a monster looks like, but you don't know what my monster looks like. My monster can look anything I want it to, you know? I mean, clearly this is kind of Bigfoot inspired, but beyond that, I have a lot of freedom in how I depict this monster. I mean, he basically has to obey certain laws. Like, obviously, if I have the light coming down this side, I have to be consistent about that. But beyond that, I can do whatever I want, which is nice. A Matterhorn Yeti. Okay, there you go. So, yeah, I mean, I always leave like the interpretations up to you guys. So if you think it looks like a Yeti, that's cool. If you think it looks like a Bigfoot, that's cool. If you think it looks like something from your nightmares, I've done my job. But yeah, like you know, I don't really know because I don't know all the Bigfoot lore, but my understanding is that Yeti and Bigfoot are kind of like in the same family anyway, like they're distant cousins, like distance in terms of geography, but basically the same creature. So I'm kind of interested in how all of that dries. So I'm just going to leave that be. Let me get some more darker stuff in here just so that I can get some fur definition going. I don't think that's going to dry that dark. It's probably going to lighten up as it dries. But all of this side is kind of in a darker area. So again, I wanted them to have these like big muscular like I don't even know what these are called like um, but I didn't really get that in the initial pass. So I kind of want to develop that a little bit here. They're not. I don't even whatever those are called. He just wants to say right. He just wants her candy. That's all it is. He's really super friendly once you get to know him. Hey Marble, Marble, you said you wanted Halloween pictures, so that's what I'm doing. Got to give the audience what they want. If you guys want scary pictures, I'll do scary pictures. Hopefully, you all have nightmares tonight. That's my actual goal. I want you guys to be afraid, be very afraid. All right, so I think his mouth is probably dry enough to where I can kind of like rough in some teeth, which is going to be challenging because I don't want to overdo it. I just like he's got to have some teeth though, and I think my strategy here is I'm going to go with this kind of like almost flesh color that I used before. Um, just because like I'm going to come back over it with highlights, but I think that this is probably a good start to kind of figuring out where his teeth might be. I think I'm happy with this brush. The hopefully this paint hasn't dried too much and I can still get it's not like watercolor where you can just like really reactivate it with the water. Um, it, these acrylics almost become plastic. So I want him to have like big fangs, but I also want other teeth. Like he shouldn't just have like I don't know, like fangs like a bat. I want to make sure you get some other teeth in here as well. So like smaller teeth up here. This guy needs to go to a dentist, right? He needs to go to a Bigfoot dentist. Get his get his grill fixed up. He's got some gaps. No, that looks. I mean, that looks monstrous. I love this picture. Yep, this is fun. All right, and then like some highlights over that. I think. Well, so I'm gonna do white. Now I think I'm gonna add just a tiny little bit of yellow to it, and then kind of go from there. And then like if I need to, I'll come back over with some like white or white. All right, let's try this. You definitely need a steadier hand for this than I've got. But I mean, if you don't have a steady hand, just draw bigger pictures. That's really yeah, bad breath. From all the little girls he eats, he eats a Snickers, but I don't know. He's not he's not eating the candy, guys. He eats people. He's supposed to be scary, not friendly. Yeah. So like, honestly, if you don't have a very steady hand, you're going to end up getting paint all over yourself because you have to kind of like rest your hand on something. But also, you should probably draw bigger pictures than what I'm doing here, or paint bigger pictures. That's also something I want to do. I haven't done yet. Is I want to get a big old gigantic canvas and do like a life-size picture or something. Like maybe like a life-size portrait. That would be awesome. So that's looking cool. I like that. Let me get my basic eyes in here. Fix that up a little bit. Want them to kind of be coming down. It's like Batman. I'm having too much fun with this. All right, so hopefully that's dried enough to where I can kind of come in here with some like white highlights and it'll stick because it wasn't before. Cool. Starting to get there. How we doing on time? Oh, we're all right. I did want to kind of put some other details in here, like I want kind of like some bats in the sky and things like that. Things to really sell the idea that this is this is Halloween and you should be very afraid. Bring that down. So that's cool. Just real quick, just because it's annoying me, I'm going to try to get that moon back in there, and I think I'm just going to glob the paint on so that it sticks. Yeah, I know that looks super bright, but it basically dried out and disappeared on me. So, like, theoretically, this guy isn't Bigfoot. He's a werewolf, and you need the bright full moon to kind of sell that concept. So, put that moon back in there. I don't think he's actually a werewolf. I think he's more like a gigantic, scary Bigfoot. Really, I just wanted to demonstrate yet again that I cannot actually paint a circle. Why? Why is that so hard? Ends up looking more like a deflated balloon. That's what it looks like. Oh well, that's good. Looks like a moon. Enough. All right, let me go back to messing with this picture. Get some highlights going over here. Again, this is the side that's highlighted. So I kind of want some white fur kind of coming off. Again, these highlights kind of help define his arm a little bit better as well. So like you can kind of see where his forearm begins and so on. Yeah, I mean, I can probably clean this up a little bit. The other problem with painting like this is I'm sitting back here and I'm looking down on something. So there's already going to be like a perspective problem. So I've kind of compensated for that pretty well in the past, but again, it's a little bit challenging. Like theoretically, you should have a like an easel with the picture right in front of you and so on. Just if you're gonna do it right. But it's kind of hard to do that and also live stream at the same time. I'm sure I can set up my camera to work like that, but heck, I was having so much trouble in the beginning here with the technical details. I probably shouldn't mess with things too much. Right, so I kind of want this to come around and down. see if I can get some other danglies coming off of here. Make it look kind of cool. But it is a lot of fun. And I encourage people to do things like this. Like if you're really interested in like, you know, expanding your artistic prowess, I guess. Um, try to actually do an illustration. Paint yourself a like a story. It's a lot of fun. Like um, one of the things I'm really working on is just composition in general. Like I do pictures that turn out okay and stuff, but I don't put a lot of thought into thanks, Marvel. I don't put a lot of thought into like the composition of the picture. Like, for, I try my best to make sure that things are kind of like in the center of the picture, things like that. That things are balanced and so on. But I don't try to tell a story as much as maybe I would like to. So this is um this is a fun exercise. Is basically what I'm getting at. All right. So I think that's pretty good. Really need to make these hands look more realistic. I don't want to go crazy with the white through here, but tap some of that out. I think that'll probably dry lighter and stuff like that. All right. So I feel pretty good about that. I think now that like a lot of her has dried, I'm going to return to our little girl here and put some highlights back in her hair because it looks like they kind of dried out. Just gonna try to carefully make it look like hair. Little strands of hair coming off. I mean, this is almost like using the paintbrush as like a pen. Because, like, her hair kind of catches that moonlight too. And again, if this white doesn't dry as bright as I want it to, I'll probably come back with like a gel pen and kind of put in some of these lines. But and then I think I wanted to add some highlights. This white is not very opaque at all. It's very transparent and it's frustrating because I'm not getting the brightness that I want. I was gonna put something in her other hand, but I think I'm just gonna leave it like it is because I think that like kind of looks cool. It's almost like her hand is balled up in a fist, like I'm not afraid of you, Mr. Monster. I think that looks cool. I bet you I have like 20 live streams that I have to delete now in my videos because of like starting and stopping because of the technical glitches in the beginning. All right, and I did kind of want, wait, my red hair hasn't, kind of wanted to add some stripes to her stockings, I guess they'd be called, or like socks or whatever. So off camera, you can't really see it. I'm mixing up kind of like a pink here, but I don't want it to be like super pink. I'm gonna kind of dull it out with some of this black. Yeah, I think that works. All right. Yeah, technology sucks. All right, let's see how straight my hand is. Hmm, not bad. Kind of like stripes. And then on this side, so the stripes really help because it lets you know the direction this leg is going, right? So I really want it to look like she's running towards the monster. So theoretically, having these stripes lets you know that her leg is kind of, turned. I don't know. It's a thought. But the story is that she's running at this monster. She's not running away from it. So, like over here, clearly she's running away from the demons and so on. On this side, on this one, it's more of a positive story, you know? Good enough. Let's see. What can I work on now? Again, I wanted to have, like, none of my light colors are all that light. Like, this should have had some yellow here. I tried too light, too dark. All right, so I think I'm going to just kind of work on various pieces and kind of like make it a little more pronounced. I think all the basics are here, which is cool. Like, with this one. Kind of reinforce some of these elements. So like, for example, down here, he's supposed to have like pretty clearly defined legs, and that kind of dried a lot lighter than I thought. So less water, make these more opaque. Come back over that with some highlights. Some of these little things down here can have a little more detail. So puppy, I want to pet him. That's not that he's supposed to be scary. He's not supposed to be cute and cuddly and stuff like that. He's supposed to be scary. He did turn out cuter than what I thought. That'll probably end up drying pretty light too, but hopefully not. Hopefully there's at least some pieces in here that dry super dark. If not, like I said, can always come back over it with a like basically a marker pen or something like that. Probably over here in the corner, I kind of want it to be like really dark. There you go. His teeth are pretty scary. Thanks, Marble. But yeah, I agree. Like he's not scary otherwise. Like he looks like a big teddy bear almost. Um, it's really the teeth that kind of sell the whole idea of him being a monster. But I don't know. Looks like Halloween to me. All right, so I kind of wanted to also put in some cool bats because it's like Halloween and stuff. So I'm going to like get this paint really super wet and I'm going to try to get some bats up in here. Bats are hard to paint for me. They almost end up looking like the Batman signal. Like I tried to put some in this painting over here, but they didn't turn out very well. I think it's just because like I painted them so small. It's kind of hard to tell what they are. I like bats. So like bats are scary for some reason in like Halloween pictures and stuff like that, but in real life they're just kind of cute. Like you shouldn't mess with them because they carry like rabies or whatever. That's something to be afraid of. But beyond that, I am not afraid of bats at all. Bats are cool. Nice one, dog. How are we doing on time? I think we're doing good. Yeah, there you go. Got a little back going up here. These bats don't need like a lot of detail to them. Your ex-wife taking candy from like that's funny, Moon. So like I don't know, these bats I'm drawing could also look like birds, but I think by doing one that looks really like a bat, that kind of like sells the idea that the rest of them are bats as well. But really, there's not that much difference. And then we're back going over here in this corner. All right, let me kind of lighten this up a little bit and get some more bats back here in the background. A little lighter. Over here. These are more off in the distance. Maybe one back here. Kind of fill in this spot. Thanks, Rom. Appreciate it. All right. Light paint. It's like super light. And a little bit of blue to this so it's not so gray. You guys can't even see me mixing colors. That's a disappointment. There you go. Bluish. Here. So there's probably additional details I can add to this, but we're getting pretty close to finishing this up, which is nice. I actually like this color, so I'm going to use some of this up in here. Okay. So it does look like some of my white paint did not do what I wanted it to do. So I think I am going to use the white gel pen to kind of like put in some of the details here in a moment. I kind of wanted this to come out a little bit further. Have a good one, Moon. I appreciate you stopping in. May you have nightmares tonight. Tree branches out a little bit more. Fill up some of that space. Actually, I like this color, so I'm going to use this in a couple of other spots as well. Some of this stuff just kind of hanging off. And then I do think maybe I'll have like a bat a little bit more in the foreground as well, like little bats down here. Just to make sure that I have something going on up here in the foreground. I think that looks cool. Maybe another one kind of back here. All right. Looking pretty cool. All right, what else can I do? I think and a little bit of a all right, so I think I'm going to go ahead and put in some finishing details if I can. Thanks, guys. So I've got a couple of pens here. I've got you know, white pens and black pens and stuff. So I'm going to because I can't get my whites to be really super opaque, I'm going to try to compensate for that by using my pen, but I don't want to go overboard. I just want to, like, I don't want to actually draw here. I just want to put in some highlights. Highlights that didn't come through with the paint. So that's what I'm going to do. Come back and dab over that. Like this eye over here should be more glowy. Get more of a highlight on these teeth. Get that one really pointy. It's kind of like really, really fine details. Or a little bit of fine details. All right, so he had kind of like a bit of a highlight underneath his lips. I can probably get in here a little bit. I'm gonna dab that out so it's not so stark. Bring that around here a little bit. And dab it out. I do use my hands a lot when I'm working on pictures. I don't mind getting messy. All right, so I think that looks cool. I wanted to add a little bit of highlight over here. Bring that around a little bit more. Thanks, Lorraine. Yeah, we're getting close to being done, so just bear with me a few more minutes. Hey, stop making noises, dog. Hopefully it's not looking good, it's looking scary. He's not supposed to be cute and cuddly. He's supposed to give you nightmares. It's kind of, I don't know, a bunch of highlights up here where the moon, if it doesn't completely fade away, would be. Dab some of that out. Boo. Yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm going to actually draw or paint on actual Halloween. I'm just kind of excited that I'm going to be live streaming at some point on Halloween. We'll have to think of something cool. Maybe on Halloween I'll just do something not scary. That was just for a twist. Oh, pirate! Did you encounter a Bigfoot when you were a kid? Dog, quit making smacking noises. That's gross. All right, so down here I wanted some highlights on his claws. Which I think that looks kind of cool. I like some of these bats. All right, and really highlight her dress. I think it looks cool. All right, so let's see. Maybe kind of curve out this moon a little bit. Get some little moon features, craters and such. Blend that out a little bit. Yeah, it kind of sucks that that white apparently isn't all that white, like as far as um, opacity. So I'll have to keep that in mind for the future. Let's get some streaks coming off of that. All right, so I think that looks pretty cool. So now I'm going to grab my pens and see if I can add some more dark features. I kind of want to round out her leg a little bit, or at least her foot. And we can get little pockets of darker fur. Again, I would really like to actually draw some comics, and this would like some graphic novels or something like that. I don't have any cool stories for that, but this is the style I'd like to do those in, just because this is kind of cool. Maybe like illustrate a children's book or something like that. Although I don't think this would really be that appropriate for like a children's book. Might give them nightmares. But it could be a story about like a friendly monster or something that only looks evil. Like I was saying, that man thing and the Disney's werewolf or Marvel's Werewolf by Night. Um, he looks pretty scary, and he's like really nice. He's like a really nice monster. So just because something looks bad doesn't mean that it is bad. Like this guy might be super friendly. He might be saying, "No, you forgot the candy. It's back that way." That's all he's doing. He's just pointing out the right way to go to get candy. I'm gonna give him some ears here. Hey, relax. We're almost done. Let me fix up his paws down. definition going on this tree over here a little bit. Yeah, I think this looks cool. I think I'm about done, guys. Trying to think if there's any improvements I can make to the little girl. Not exactly what I wanted, but this is why you should not go trick-or-treating by yourself. You should always go with a parent or a guardian or somebody who can protect you from monsters. So of the two, I think I like my first one better. I just like the story there, the composition, all of that. But this one isn't so bad. Trying to lighten up some of these shadows here that were looking kind of weird. Make that drawing very light. So. Oh well, I think I'm done. There's probably some like little details I can do. Like I do want to add some shadow through here just to indicate that, you know, he is hunched essentially. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to have more things hanging off of him. So let me do that. Oh, and I wanted, you're right. I wanted these to be a little bit sharper. I think that looks cool. And then this one, yeah, I'm going to sharpen all these claws. Oh, have a good one, Moon. Yeah, I'm wrapping up here in a moment anyway. I know it's a weeknight, so I try not to let these run too late anyway. All right, I think that's about done. Maybe just a slight highlight on some of these claws, and then we'll call it done. Again, I really do appreciate you guys sticking around, even though I had the technical issues earlier. I don't know what happened. Just one of my cameras just stopped working and like left me on a goofy face, which is always fun. Um, but I'm glad things ended up working eventually. So I appreciate you guys sticking it out. And I don't know what I'm going to work on next. Maybe not a Halloween picture, just to kind of vary it up a little bit. But I do like this storytelling stuff, like doing a whole picture that kind of tells a story. I think I'm definitely going to do more of that in the future. Yes, I know you're done. Give me give me a second, dog. My entire life is ruled by these dogs, always bossing me around. All right, I think it's kind of cool. Let's see if there's any other things I want to do to this pumpkin down here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call this done. Hopefully you guys had fun hanging out with me, doing scary stories. And if If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit like and subscribe, especially with this Halloween picture. That might cause it to like bump up as, you know, Halloween's coming closer. Maybe other people might get a kick out of it. But beyond that, I don't screw this up at the end. Just kind of wanted some more dangly stuff coming off of them. Arrgh. He needs a name. What are we gonna call him? Yeah, the doggies need to go out. I will call him Fred. I think he looks like a Fred. Fred monster. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna call this done. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Hopefully you enjoyed this scary furry photo of mine. And hopefully it's not too scary, but you guys enjoyed it anyway. Let's see, go ahead and get to the just me. So I'll be back Friday. Don't know what I'm going to draw next, but I might do something a little bit different than these Halloween pictures, but I don't know. It's the season. I'm having fun with these. Again, sorry about the technical glitches earlier, but I'll be back Friday, and until then, I'll see you guys. Hopefully you guys have a great week. Appreciate it. Yes. All right. I gotta go. Say bye, Bear. All right. See you guys. Bye.